everybody, Jeff, your executive gardener here. Thanks for joining me for this episode. So as you probably know, I'm going to be giving away in this episode a green stalk grow tower garden. So again, before I start this episode, because I don't want to get people saying different things on the site, I'm not endorsed by this grow tower. It just worked for me. Because it worked for me, I'm going to give one away to my subscribers. So what I asked you to do was just comment on my last video, and many of you did, about growing where you live compared to Houston, Texas. And out of all those hundreds of comments, I have picking a winner. So I will announce the winner at some point in time in this episode. I don't know if it's going to be in the beginning, the middle, or the end. That means you have to tune into the whole episode, I guess. But we'll have fun with it. Anyway, so before I give out this grow tower, you know, I get a lot of emails, and people respond to other people on my emails, not me. And the question is, why would I grow in my grow tower? And I don't care what grow tower you use. This green stalk garden worked for me. But I'm going to give you a top 10 reasons why you should get a grow tower. And some people say it's expensive. So this thing, I believe, is $140. But it will last you 10 to 15 years. I grow in 2 or 3 seasons a year. And I already made back my money in what I've grown in it versus what I haven't. And I'm not handy, number one, so you could certainly build raised beds and build other types of gardens, but that's going to cost you money and labor. It's either hiring labor or materials to build the bed. And that can get quite expensive too, and eventually that will rot quicker than this will rot. So I like this, and I'm going to give you my top 10 reasons of why you should buy a grow tower, whether you live in a condo, an apartment, or a house. And also what I've grown in the grow tower, what you can grow in the grow tower, and then things you probably can't grow in the grow tower. So here we go, and then we'll announce our winner as well. So number one, the reason why I like the grow tower is it's easy. It's very easy. So there's 3 ways it's easy. Number one, watering. So the way the grow tower works is there's a reservoir on top. So what I do is you pour a gallon or 2 gallons in, and it trickles down all 5 levels of the grow tower. And I'll give you a close-up here in a little bit. And as you'll see, I'm growing cucumbers in my grow tower too. So number one is ease of watering. You only have to dump. I put a 2.5 gallon bucket, put it in top, and I'm done for the day. I don't have to go around to 20 different pots or raised beds. It's very easy. Changing out plants is very easy. So when you're done with one season, so when my cucumbers are done in the summer and I switch to celery and some lettuce in the winter and fall, all I have to do is pull the plant out, put it in my compost, recharge the soil in compost, put more compost, more soil in there, and I'm ready to go. I can either plant a seed or a seedling. It's so darn easy to do as far as changing out plants throughout the season. So number 3 is travel convenience. I travel every week. I'm gone 2 or 3 days a week. If I go away on vacation with my family, what I'm able to do is hire the neighbor's daughter, and I don't have to go around my yard and say there's 25 plants and she has to drag the hose or drag the watering can. All I have to say is put 2.5 gallons at the top in the morning and you're good to go. And she's 11 years old. She understands that, okay? So I can trust her to do that. So it's easy and convenient, okay? Number 2, and this is really important, it takes up very little space. So if you live in a condo or you live in an apartment, as long as you have a balcony or a patio facing the south sun, you can put this grow tower in a very compact area. So number 2 is it takes up very little space. Number 3, which I love personally because you've seen my previous videos, I hate pests, okay? Whether they're beetles, whether they're slugs, whether they're snails, whether they're caterpillars, whatever it may be, I have problems in all of my garden beds, all of my pots as it relates to pests. I have very little problems with the grow tower for whatever reason. I have one thing that impacts the grow tower, and that's it. Sometimes I get snails, but what I do is I put copper tape around the bottom, and the snails don't like to cross it. So really 0 pests to the grow tower compared to every other garden I have, and that's a good thing because I maximize what I eat. Number 4, and I love this, and this is to me a number 1 reason for going to a grow tower versus a bed, is no weeds. I don't have any weeds. I never have any weeds in this grow tower. Never. Not a problem. Nil. If you use compost and you use potting mix, potting soil, you're in good shape. Zero weeds. Every one of my other beds, I have weeds. Raised beds, flat garden beds. I get weeds in my pot over here. Okay, I have zero weeds in my grow tower. And my wife loves that because she says only true gardeners weed. And unfortunately, I don't have time to weed, so this works really well for me. Okay, number 5 is really to maximize space. So what I mean is maximize space within gardening. This 5-tower grow tower has, I believe, 5 pots in each level. So that's 25. If you get a 4, it's 20. I can grow 20 to 25 different plants, all different varieties, right in this compact space. If you did 25 different 20-gallon or 10-gallon pots, it's going to take up a ton of space. So you maximize space in an area growing. Number 6, you can grow all year round if you live in a warmer climate. So what I mean by that is that in the summertime I grow cucumbers, peppers, tomatoes, typical summer type crops. And then I change it out in the fall and winter, and it's real easy to do. Pull out the soil, put new soil in, recharge it, put some compost in. I grow lettuce, I grow kale, I grow all kinds of stuff. So you can grow all year round. Very little, it's like changing a tire. Summer crop out, fall, winter crop in, and then you just keep doing it. You don't ever have to let your beds rest, and that's a good thing for me. So number 7, I talked about this already a little bit, but it's affordable, okay? You may think $140 is a lot, and it is a lot. But if you think about using it for 15 years and the amount of produce you get, it comes to pennies, okay? And I want you to think about that. Number 8, reason for buying a grow tower, I think it's fun. It's fun to grow different things, 20 to 25 different things, without the hassle of pests, without the hassle of weeding and all that type of stuff. So I'd encourage you to do that. I'd also encourage you, as part of being fun, is for this grow tower, is get one of those spinners that you can put on the bottom. So at any point in time, you can rotate the complete tower. So every part of your grow tower, because it's circular, gets part of the sun, okay? And I didn't do this for this one, but my next one I will have a plant rotator, okay, at the very bottom. Number 9, it's easy to shade in the summer. So let me show you what I mean by this. So let me show you the grow tower here. And you can buy shade cloth and put the shade cloth over this very easy, because I'm standing in 98-degree heat right now, 98% humidity, and it's just too hot even for cucumbers. So let me show you what you can do. It's very easy to clip up a shade cloth. So you take a look at this. Here's a shade cloth, okay? And I simply pull it all the way around, and I use a clip, and I clip it in place like that, okay? It's simple. This thing shades, blocks out 50% of the sun's rays, and I'm in great shape. So it's easy to shade. And this shade cloth is only, I think it's 6 by 8 feet, as opposed to buying one for a gigantic garden that may have to be 50 feet, 25 feet. And so it works really well for me. Let me take the shade cloth back out, because I want to give you a quick close-up of the garden, what's growing in here right now. And then the 10th reason that I have for going with a grow tower is that you have less disease, okay? Because nothing, I don't know what it is, but everything I've grown in here have very little disease. So most of you know that grow cucumbers in a hot, humid environment, there's always issues with disease, okay? Fungus, mildew, tomatoes, the same thing. Peppers, the same thing. When your plant leaves come in contact with the soil, and if it rains, it splashes. You don't have that issue with a grow tower. For whatever reason, I never have issues with the disease. And also keep in mind, as water, let's say it rains really hard, as water goes through this, it's released through the bottom, okay, and it goes out. So water never puddles in this thing. It constantly comes up the top and flows out the bottom. Unlike my other garden, where water can pool on top, as I talked about in my last episode, and kind of chokes out the roots of the plant by not allowing oxygen to get to the roots. That doesn't happen in a grow tower, because water comes in the top and it's flushed out the bottom. It's constantly moving, okay? And the plant in the soil only retains what's necessary for the roots to get water. So no disease. So that's my top 10 reasons, for getting a grow tower, and I think you should get a grow tower. Let me give you a close-up on what I'm growing here, and I'll show you how there's no pests, very little disease, and how easy it is. So as you see here, I'm growing cucumbers in my grow tower. So, and some basil and some dill. Okay, so that's all I'm growing right now because quite frankly, everything else it's just too hot to grow. And again, I have to keep it shaded most of the day. And I'll just kind of give you an example of the shade cloth. Take a look at a leaf which has been under the shade cloth this morning versus part of the leaves that haven't. Okay, look at how they just kind of look like they melt. The leaves just kind of wilt in this unbelievable heat. So there's some basil. As you see, it's bolting a little bit, but the basil, it's Thai basil. It's still really good, very healthy. No disease at all on that. The fennel, or excuse me, the dill is right there. Okay, no disease. Some of it's drying up because just the heat, but no disease on that as well. Okay, and we've got some plants here, but this is a cucumber. Let me take a look, and you know, mostly cucumbers have huge issues with disease and mildew. There's a few spots, but nothing like a garden, a raised bed or anything like that I've had. So take a look. You'll see here, you know, there's some cucumbers here that are growing. They grow really easy. They just hang on it. There's another one right there. A beautiful cucumber. The bees just kind of fly up here and pollinate these things for me. I don't have to do anything. And there's a few more cucumbers on here, but you see there's a few more that are growing right there. The bees have done their work. There's another cucumber that's growing right there. So this is kind of what I'm growing right now, and I call it kind of my cucumber tower. And the dill on the other side, which is bolting a little bit because of the heat, I'll use to make my dill pickles. But as you'll see, works very well. You could do the same thing with like cherry tomatoes, let them hang off here as well. And you may want to put some netting, just like I put shade cloth. You can put netting over the top of it and keep it from the birds as well. Very easy, very compact, easy to grow. Anyway, this is what I'm growing right now. When the summer's done, I'll exchange it out and get fall winter type plants, as I talked about. So that's a real quick look at what I'm growing here in my my green stalk grow tower. These things are available at greenstalkgarden.com, greenstalkstlkgarden.com. So if you don't win this drawing, you can certainly buy one for yourself. Again, I don't endorse it. I don't make any money. I don't take any money from them. It just worked really well for me. It's easy, and I gave you the top 10 reasons why you should grow a grow tower. So the winners of my grow tower, real quick, I'll give you number 1 and number 2. So number 1, I had over 200 some responses. I randomly had my daughter draw this. I don't know any of these people other than the fact that they subscribe to my channel. But the first winner is Lydia Kanyuk, Kanyuck. I'll send you a direct message. Congratulations, Lydia. I'll send you a message on YouTube. Check your message, please. I'll give you information, how to get in touch with me, and then I'll probably ship it out in the next 7 to 10 days, a 4-level green stalk garden. You were the grand winner because you gave me a comment. I picked you randomly, and I can't remember where you live, but I'll ship it to you, and you'll have it probably within 2 weeks, and hopefully you have the same success. Now, Lydia, if I don't hear back from you by the 17th of July, then second place winner is, I don't know the name, but it's Blackthorn 1129. So Blackthorn 1129. You win only if Lydia does not respond by the 17th of July, okay? So congratulations to one of you two. I love having subscribers on my channel. I love giving away things, and we're all part of this great channel, great community, and you'll win this. Thanks to everybody for giving me your comments. I'm going to be doing more giveaways over the next upcoming weeks. I'm going to announce a quick one before I end the video today. But back to this thing, I wanted to tell you real quick what I've grown in my green stalk garden tower. So far, I've only had it a year, but I've grown cucumbers, peppers, basil, dill, fennel, cherry tomatoes, spinach, lettuce, 6 different varieties of lettuce, kale, radish, celery, broccoli, and broccolini. So I've grown all of those so far in a year and a half, of course in different seasons. The other things that you can grow here very well that are very successful are certainly flowers. And I encourage you actually to put flowers in here regardless because it brings pollinators for things like cucumbers and tomatoes. Peas, onions, strawberries would do great in here. Carrots would do good in here. Beets would do well in here. And turnips would go well in here. Probably what you can't grow here, obviously because of size, and the pots are only so big, and some plants need bigger root systems and they're bigger and heavier, are things like beefsteak tomatoes, squash, watermelon, and certainly corn. So this does have some limitations, but you can grow just about any herb you want in here as well, as you see that I've done. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you consider buying a grow tower, because it allows you to grow all year for the top 10 reasons I just talked about. And the contest I want to do before I end here, and it's not as big and as grand as this, but many of you know that I love growing peppers, and if you can leave me a comment after this video, and the first 2 people who watch my other videos that respond to me through a comment and tell me what my favorite sweet pepper is, I will send you each 15 seeds of my 3rd generation of this type of pepper. I have actually a germination rate of 90% for this pepper, but they're the best sweet pepper on the market, according to me, bar none. So the first 2 that respond with the name of the sweet pepper that I like the most, I'll mail you out 15 seeds each of these sweet peppers. Well, listen, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this channel. This channel is all about learning and teaching. I love getting your comments. I love getting your questions. I am certainly not a genius or a know-it-all on gardening, but we learn from each other, and some of you leave some great comments and messages to me that I learn from. That's what this channel is all about, okay? Tell a friend about the channel, and we'd love to have them part of this executive gardener community. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.